My daughter's imaginary friend told her where I hid the Christmas presents. I've never told anyone where I hide them. Becca is 6 years old and started talking about someone called Mr. Hollow about 3 weeks ago. At first I thought absolutely nothing of it. Kids have imaginary friends all the time. My wife passed away 2 years ago, so I figured Becca was just coping with the loneliness in her own way. Then last Tuesday she walked up to me while I was cooking dinner. "Daddy, Mr. Hollow says you put the presents behind the water heater in the basement." I froze completely. The spatula slipped from my hand and clattered onto the floor. Nobody knew about that hiding spot. Not my parents, not my sister, not my closest friends. I had been hiding presents there for 4 years and never told a single living soul. "What did you just say, sweetheart?" "Mr. Hollow told me. He watches you at night when you think everyone is sleeping." My skin went completely cold. "Where does Mr. Hollow live exactly?" "In the walls," she said simply. "He comes out when it gets dark." That night I did not sleep at all. I sat in Becca's doorway watching her room until the sun came up. Nothing happened, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was deeply wrong. The next morning I searched the entire basement thoroughly. Behind the water heater were 5 wrapped Christmas presents exactly where I left them. But something was different. They had been moved around, reorganized, stacked in a different way than I had left them. Someone had definitely touched them. I installed security cameras that very afternoon, 4 of them covering the basement, the hallways, and Becca's bedroom. I told myself I was being paranoid. Maybe Becca had somehow followed me down there once. Maybe she had seen me through the basement door. There had to be a logical explanation. That night the cameras caught something terrifying. At 2:34 a.m. there was movement in the basement. I pulled up the footage with shaking hands. A figure emerged slowly from behind the furnace. Tall, thin, wearing dark clothes. He walked directly to my hiding spot, looked at the presents, then turned and stared directly into the camera with a smile on his face. Then he disappeared back behind the furnace. I called the police immediately. They searched the entire basement and found absolutely nothing. No person, no hiding spot. No way anyone could possibly fit behind that furnace. The officer looked at me like I was losing my mind. "Sir, there's nobody here." "I have footage." I showed them the video on my phone. The officer squinted at the screen for a long moment. "Sir, that video shows an empty basement. There's nothing there." I grabbed the phone and watched. He was right. The footage showed nothing but an empty basement for 8 straight hours, but I had seen him. I know what I saw. The next morning, Becca was waiting at the breakfast table with a drawing. It showed a tall figure with long arms and no face standing next to a little girl. At the bottom, she had written, "Me and Mr. Hollow," in crayon. "Sweetheart, tell me everything about Mr. Hollow right now." "He's nice," she said. "He says he lived here before us. He says he never left." "Where exactly does he stay?" "Everywhere, but mostly the room behind my closet." My heart stopped completely. "There's no room behind your closet, baby." "Yes, there is. Mr. Hollow showed me." I ran upstairs immediately, threw open her closet door and started pulling out all the toys and clothes. Behind everything, hidden by a shelf, was a seam in the wall, a seam that was not supposed to exist. I grabbed a hammer and smashed through the drywall. Behind it was a crawl space maybe 4 feet deep, running the entire length of the house. Inside I found blankets, empty food cans, water bottles, a bucket, and photographs, dozens of them, all of Becca, sleeping in her bed, playing in the yard, eating breakfast, all taken from angles inside our house. At the very back of the crawl space was a small mattress. It was still warm. Whoever had been living in my walls had just been here, watching us, for who knows how long. The police found footprints leading to the backyard. The fence had been cut. He was gone. But that night, Becca tugged on my sleeve. "Daddy, Mr. Hollow is mad that you found his room. He says he's coming back when you're not watching." We moved out that same week, but sometimes Becca still waves at empty corners, and every single time she does, I wonder if we ever really left him behind.